Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. Good morning to all the students. Today we will discuss very important current affairs of 19th of May 2022. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affair. So watch this video till last. But first of all, you have to download our application Careers Cloud from the Google Play Store. After that, log in with your email ID. Then click on this Crack Current Affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But the most important thing, what we are covering under this 1 year and the 2 year subscription, we are providing you daily section. In the daily section, you will receive three things. One is the detailed current affair. Second is the question and answer format of current affairs, but both will be provided in the form of PDF or in the form of ebook. And third is the quiz section, and this can be attempted only on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, we are providing three things. One is the detailed current affairs, second is the question and answer format, but both things will be provided in the PDF format, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Next is the monthly section, and in the monthly section we are providing you four type of PDFs. One is the detailed current affair PDF, which is known as study PDF. Next, all the detailed current affairs will be converted in the form of question and answer. That's why it is known as question and answer PDF, so that you can revise all the current affairs in the question and answer format. Next is the best 100 current affairs will be provided. That is also provided in the form of question and answer. And last is the pocket PDF. It means one-liner, two-liner, or the three-liners current affair will be provided to you, so that you can revise these current affairs very quickly before your exam. Next is topic wise current affair. This is very important section because we are providing 20 most important topic wise PDF. If you want to revise one or two particular topics, then you can use this topic wise PDF. If you are a banking student, then we are providing three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format of current affairs, but only related to banking and economy, and third is the quiz section. It is also only related to banking and economy, and you can attempt this quiz section only on our application on monthly basis. Next is exam PDF. If you want to cover all the current affairs before your exam of particular year, then you can use this exam PDF. Next is special current affair section. In the special current affair, we are providing you budget and economic survey. Two things we are providing. One is detail, budget and economic survey. Second is question and answer format of budget and economic survey. It means you can recall that examiner can make these type of questions from budget and economic survey. If you are preparing for your respective state exam, then we are also providing state current affairs, and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. First of all, you have to just download our application Careers Cloud, then click on this Crack Current Affairs section, and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years. And if you want 10% extra discount, then you can use this code ASH10. If you have any query, then you can email us on this email ID, or you can call us on this number. So let's start 19th of May 2022 current affairs. But first of all, you have to like this video. You have to share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link, so that you can receive the notification on time. Here is the first question in the most important section. Who has been appointed as the chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange? So this is the most important because we are talking about the oldest stock exchange of Asia. This is Bombay Stock Exchange, and answer of this question is SS Mundra. So B is the answer. So Bombay Stock Exchange Limited appointed Subhash Mundra or SS Mundra, who is the public interest director of Bombay Stock Exchange. Now he becomes the chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange, or you can say chairman of board of directors of the company. So you can also see here the picture of SS Mundra, who is appointed as the chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange, or the chairman of board of directors of the Bombay Stock Exchange. And Mundra retired as a deputy governor of the RBI in July 2017 after completing a stint of 3 years. And he replaced the incumbent Justice Vikramjit Sen. So you have to remember, earlier the chairman was Justice Vikramjit Sen, who has appointed on 19th of May 2016, but now in 2022 he retired, and the new person will be SS Mundra. And in the banking sector, SS Mundra has very rich experience of 40 years, holding various important positions such as the Executive Director of the Union Bank of India, Chief Executive of the Bank of Baroda in the European operations, and other positions also held by SS Mundra. But you don't have to remember, just remember the name. Name is SS Mundra, who is appointed as the chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange, and earlier this position was with Justice Vikramjit Sen. But other options are again very important here. Like first option, you can see Vishwas Patel. He was recently appointed as chairman of Payment Council of India, PCI, Payment Council of India. Next, Dr. S. Raju, he was recently appointed as Director General of Geological Survey of India, GSI. Next, Vinay Mohan Kawatra, most important appointment because he recently became the new Foreign Secretary. Remember, new Foreign Secretary. So, all the appointments are very, very important. Moving to next question. Who has received an honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Her Majesty the Queen? So you have to just remember the question as same as in slide. The keyword here is Honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire, or it is also known as CBE. And answer of this question is Ajay Piramal. So D is the answer. So Ajay Piramal, who is the chairman of Mumbai-based Piramal Group, has received an honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Her Majesty the Queen. So this is Ajay Piramal who received the Order of the British Empire. So Ajay Piramal received this award for the services to the United Kingdom India trade relationship as India co-chair of the United Kingdom India CEO Forum. And as a co-chair of India UK CEO Forum since 2016, the Piramal Group endeavor has to help strengthen the strong bilateral relationship between the two countries like UK and India through greater economic cooperation or through trade. So the most important thing under this question is Honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire. So it is given for a prominent national role of a lesser degree, a conspicuous leading role in the regional affairs through achievement or service to the community, or highly distinguished innovative contribution in his or her area of the activity. And this was instituted in the year of 1917 by then King George V. King George V. So you have to remember, this was started in the year of 1917 by King George V, and in this year of 2022, this honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire goes to Ajay Piramal, who strengthened the relation between India and United Kingdom. So moving to next question, but you can also remember other options, like first is Ramdarsh Mishra. Professor Ramdarsh Mishra, he recently received Saraswati Samman Award of 2021. Next is Amar Mitra, very famous or the veteran Bengali author. He received O. Henry Award. Remember, O. Henry Award. Next is Sir David Attenborough. He recently received United Nation Champion of the Earth Lifetime Achievement Award. United Nation Champion of Earth Lifetime Achievement Award. Moving to next section. Next section is a very important question section, but first of all you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link so that you can receive the notification on time. Here is the first question in the very important section. All India Chess Federation signed a memorandum of understanding with which state for the upcoming 44th Chess Olympiad 2022? In simple words, you have to remember 44th Chess Olympiad 2022 will be hosted by which state, because it will be hosted by India and the state is Tamil Nadu because exact place is Chennai. So answer of this question is B. So All India Chess Federation signed a memorandum of understanding with the government of Tamil Nadu for the upcoming 44th Chess Olympiad of 2022, and it is set to be held from 28th of July 2022 to 10th of August 2022. And for the first time, India is set to host the world biggest chess event, and this is 44th edition of the Chess Olympiad, and it will be organized by very prominent organization which is known as FIDE, International Chess Federation. And this memorandum of understanding was signed in the presence of Sanjay Kapoor. You have to remember this person because Sanjay Kapoor is currently the president of All India Chess Federation, and this MOU was signed in the presence of Sanjay Kapoor and MK Stalin. MK Stalin is currently the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. So you have to remember, answer of this question is B, and the most important thing that 44th Chess Olympiad 2022 will be hosted by Tamil Nadu, or exact place is Chennai. Next question is, which bank has won the 6 national awards from the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority under different categories? So this bank won the 6 national awards under different categories, and these awards are given by Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, and name of this bank is Karnataka Vikas Gramin Bank. So answer of this question is B. So Karnataka Vikas Gramin Bank, the leading regional rural bank headquartered in Karnataka, has won the 6 national awards from the PFRDA in the different categories, and it is for the outstanding achievement under the enrollment of Atal Pension Yojana, because PFRDA regulates the flagship Atal Pension Yojana and the National Pension Scheme. And this Karnataka Vikas Gramin Bank has enrolled almost 2,64,000 accounts under the Atal Pension Yojana, and in the last fiscal year of 2022, the Karnataka Vikas Gramin Bank has enrolled almost 58,000 accounts. And the bank is also playing a vital role in implementing the 3 social security schemes of the Government of India. One is Prime Minister Suraksha Bima Yojana. Next is Prime Minister Jyoti Bima Yojana. Next is Atal Pension Yojana. But you can also remember what is Atal Pension Yojana. It was launched in the year of 2015 to create a universal social security system for all the Indians, especially the poor, underprivileged and the workers in the unorganized sector. And Atal Pension Yojana is open to all bank account holders in the age group of 18 to 40 years, and the contributions differ based on the pension amount chosen. And the subscriber of Atal Pension Yojana would receive a guaranteed minimum monthly pension of rupees 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 at the age of 60 years. But you can remember Karnataka Vikas Gramin Bank, its headquarters is in Karnataka, exact place is Dharwad, and who is the chairman? Chairman is P. Gopi Krishna. Moving to next question. Who has been appointed as the chairperson of the Central Board of Secondary Education? It means we are talking about very important organization. This is CBSE or Central Board of Secondary Education, and who is appointed as the chairperson of this prominent organization? And this person is Nidhi Chibbard. So answer of this question is A. Senior IAS officer Nidhi Chibbard has appointed as the chairperson of the CBSE in the rank and pay of the additional secretary to the Government of India by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. But yesterday we covered one appointment, and now this person is changed. So we are covering this question again. Who is selected as the chairman and managing director of the Rural Electrification Corporation? Yesterday we covered this question, that Ravinder Singh Dillo appointed as the chairman and managing director of Rural Electrification Corporation, because he is also the chairman of Power Finance Corporation. So he was given as a additional charge as the chairman of the managing director of the Rural Electrification Corporation. But now this person is changed and a new person is appointed, and this person is Vivek Kumar Devangan. So answer of this question is C. So remember, we are covering 2 appointments. One is chairperson of the Central Board of Secondary Education. This is Nidhi Chibbard. And who is appointed as the chairman and managing director of Rural Electrification Corporation? Then answer of this question is Vivek Kumar Devangan. And you can see here Nidhi Chibbard, a 1994 batch Indian Administrative Service Officer of Chhattisgarh cadre, is currently additional secretary under the Ministry of Heavy Industry, and she is also appointed in the rank and the pay of the additional secretary to the Government of India by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension. And Vivek Kumar Devangan ji, a 1993 batch IAS officer of the Manipur cadre, now appointed as the chairman and managing director of Rural Electrification Corporation. But you can also remember the other appointment here, Jasleen Kohli. She was recently appointed as managing director and CEO of Digit Insurance Company. Ajay Kumar Sood, he was recently appointed as principal scientific advisor to the Government of India. Next, Vijay Sampla, he appointed as the chairperson of National Commission for Scheduled Caste, and he is appointed for second time. Next is, you can also see here 2 appointments are there. One is Manoj Soni. Manoj Soni recently appointed as the chairman of Union Public Service Commission, very important appointment. Next is Anshul Swami, appointed as managing director and chief executive officer of Shivalik Small Finance Bank. So all the appointments are very, very important. Moving to next question. What is the name of satellite which will be built by ISRO to study upper atmosphere? So this is very important because this satellite will be launched by Indian Space Research Organization to study the Earth's upper atmosphere, and name of this satellite is Disha. So answer of this question is B. So ISRO plans to build 2 satellites. One is Disha L, second is Disha H, to study the upper atmosphere. And Disha stands for Disturbed and Quiet Time Ionosphere Thermosphere System at high altitudes. and it will be launched in two variants. One is L variant, second is H variant for studying the Earth upper atmosphere. And both the satellites will be launched in the low Earth orbit about 500 kilometers above Earth. And Disha satellites will study the space weather and the solar terrestrial interactions, and this will help provide advanced warning based on space weather so that preventive actions can be taken quickly. And Disha H will be placed at a higher inclination to the equator, like 85° greater, while Disha L will remain at a lower inclination of about 25 degrees, simultaneously orbiting the Earth at an altitude of approximately 400 km. And the data generated by the proposed ISRO solar mission Aditya L1 as well as the Disha satellites would help to understand the Sun-Earth linkages. So you have to remember the name of this satellite is Disha, and two variants will be launched. One is Disha L, second is Disha H. And what is the meaning of Disha? Disturbed and quiet time ionosphere thermosphere system at high altitude, and it is for the Earth upper atmosphere study. Moving to next question. A book titled A Place Called Home, authored by whom? So remember the name of the book, A Place Called Home, and this book is authored by Preeti Shenoy. So answer of this question is C. You can see here very interesting and very beautiful cover page, A Place Called Home, and this book is authored by Preeti Shenoy. So it is a story set in a coffee estate in Sakleshpur in Karnataka with a strong female protagonist at its core, and the book is published by HarperCollins, and it will be published, or it will be released in the month of June 2022. And the new novel is about secrets, family, and finding yourself. And Preeti Shenoy has authored around 15 novels, and her work have also been translated into many Indian languages and also into Turkish language. So you have to remember A Place Called Home, authored by Preeti Shenoy, and this book is about secret, family, and the finding yourself. But you can also remember the other authors here. Navdeep Singh Gill, he authored a book about Neeraj Chopra, and name of the book is Golden Boy Neeraj Chopra. Next is Richa Mishra, she authored a book Unfilled Barrels of India's Oil Story. India's Oil Story, Unfilled Barrels, India's Oil Story. Rajiv Bhatia, very famous, you can say, foreign diplomat, and he authored a book India-Africa Relations Changing Horizon. So this is the book about the international relationship between India and Africa. So all the authors are very, very important. Moving to next question. Which state named Nanjarian Tank as its 17th bird sanctuary? In simple words, you have to remember Nanjarian Tank is situated in which state? So it is situated in Tamil Nadu. So answer of this question is A. So Nanjarian Tank became the Tamil Nadu's 17th bird sanctuary, and total budgetary outlay of this sanctuary is 7.5 crore rupees. And Nanjarian Tank was built by then local King Nanjarian as a source of irrigation. So Nanjarian Tank is the 17th bird sanctuary in the state and extends across 125 hectares of land. And Tamil Nadu will create two more sanctuaries later this year at the end of 2022. One is Cylinder Lorry sanctuaries in the Dindigul and the Crude districts to the tune of 5 crore rupees. And second one is Elephant sanctuary at the Krishnagiri district of Tamil Nadu. And remember, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister is M.K. Stalin and Governor is Ravindra Narayan Ravi or R.N. Ravi. So remember, Nanjarian Tank will be the 17th bird sanctuary of Tamil Nadu, and it is announced in the Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu. Moving to next question. IIFL Home Loan partners with which organization to provide green affordable home loans to dash? So you have to tell me two things. One is the name of the organization with the help of IIFL Home Partners to provide the green affordable home loans to this state. And the name of the organization is Asian Development Bank, and name of the state is Telangana. So answer of this question is B, but it is not only Telangana, it is also Andhra Pradesh. So this initiative would promote green affordable housing in Andhra Pradesh as well as in Telangana with a goal of 7,200 crore rupees in the home loans by the year of 2025. So you can see here, IIFL Home Finance Limited organized a 9th chapter of its flagship event Kutumb. You have to remember this Kutumb with the theme Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, urgent need for the green affordable housing, the third event in collaboration with the Asian Development Bank. In simple words, you have to remember that Asian Development Bank with the help of IIFL Home Finance will provide 7,200 crore rupees of affordable home loans, but it should be the green affordable home loans in the state of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh by the year of 2025. But you can also remember what is the meaning of this Kutumb. Kutumb is a knowledge ecosystem developed by IIFL Home Loan to promote green affordable housing in India and provide a better understanding of the available green design, rating and financing option. So it aims to raise awareness about the importance of building climate resilient housing that is also cost effective and energy efficient. And IIFL Home Finance Limited has disbursed a loan of over 2400 crore in both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and out of 2448 crore, almost 1400 crore disbursed to Telangana state and 956 crore almost disbursed to Andhra Pradesh till the date of 31st of March 2022. And by the year of 2025, IIFL Home Finance Limited aim to disburse more than 7200 crore rupees in the home loans in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And in Andhra Pradesh, they will disburse almost 4300 crore, and in Telangana, they will disburse almost 2800 crore rupees. So this is the initiative of IIFL Finance with the help of Asian Development Bank. But remember, IIFL Home Finance Limited, so it is a fully owned subsidiary of IIFL Finance Limited, one of the India's largest non-banking financial company, and it is a National Housing Bank registered housing loan company. And who is the executive director and CEO of this company? This is Monu Ratra. And it started in the year of 2009 and its headquarters is in Gurugram. Next question is, Bangalore International Airport collaborated with which bank to provide one-stop payment solution? So Bangalore International Airport Limited, the operator of Kempegowda International Airport in Bengaluru, Karnataka, has launched an innovative payment solution across the airport ecosystem in collaboration with Kotak Mahindra Bank. So answer of this question is C. So you can see here, this is Bangalore International Airport Limited partners with Kotak Mahindra Bank and the Free Commerce to facilitate one-stop payment solution. It means they developed the airport ecosystem payment innovation system. And the one-stop payment solution designed specifically for the airport will provide a secure, scalable and unified payment experience across the airport. And the solution will enable B2B, it means business to business, and business to consumer payment in both online and offline channels. And this is the first time any Indian airport has adopted such an initiative. And Kempegowda International Airport in Bengaluru, Karnataka is the busiest airport in the South India and the third busiest in India. So remember, this is Kotak Mahindra Bank who will provide best to best payment, innovative payment solution across the Bengaluru International Airport Limited. Moving to next question. Recently, who is appointed as the executive director or directors of the RBI? There are so many executive directors of the RBI, but recently who is appointed as one of the executive director or directors of the RBI? Answer of this question is Rajiv Ranjan and second is Sithikanta Patnaik. So answer of this question is both A and C. D is the answer. So Reserve Bank of India has appointed Rajiv Ranjan and Sithikanta Patnaik as the executive directors with effect from 1st of May 2022. And as the executive director, Rajiv Ranjan will monitor the monetary policy department and Sithikanta Patnaik will look after the Department of Economic and the Policy Research. So just remember both the names. Moving to next, what is the theme of International Museum Day of 2022? First of all, you have to remember International Museum Day is annually observed across the globe on 18th of May, and it is to create awareness about the museums, which are important means of cultural exchange, enrichment of cultures and development of mutual understanding, cooperation and the peace among people. And what is the theme of 2022? Theme is the power of museums. So answer of this question is C. So this is International Museum Day, which is annually observed on 18th of May, and the day is annually organized by the International Council of Museum, which is also known as ICOM, since 1977. And remember, the theme is Power of Museum. And where is the headquarters of International Council of Museum? Its headquarters is in Paris, France. Moving to next question. India's forex reserve fall by dash in the September to March 2022 according to RBI data. This is static question just for the banking students because Reserve Bank of India released 38th half yearly report on management of foreign exchange reserves, and this report is basically from October to March 2022, and it's stating that India's foreign exchange reserve fell by $28.05 billion in the second half of the financial year of 22. So this is the 38th half yearly report on the foreign exchange reserves. So foreign exchange reserve fall by $28.05 billion in the September to March report of RBI. So India forex reserve decreased from $635.36 billion at the end of September 2021 to $607.31 billion at the end of March 2022. So this is total fall of $28.05 billion. And RBI publishes this half yearly report on management of the foreign exchange reserve as a part of its efforts towards the enhanced transparency and level of disclosure. As of 29th of April, latest 29th of April 2022, foreign exchange reserve again fall, and it is now $597.73 billion. At the end of March it is 607, at the end of April it is almost $597 billion. Now the question arises, what is foreign exchange reserve? So these are the assets dominated in the foreign currency that are held by the central bank of the country, and these may include foreign currency, bonds, treasury bills and other government securities. Moving to next question. INS Surat or Indian Naval Ship Surat or INS Udaygiri, Indian Navy, two new frontline warship launch. So Defense Minister Rajnath Singh ji launched two Indian Navy frontline warship. One is the Indian Naval Ship Surat and second is INS Udaygiri, and it was launched at Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited in Mumbai, Maharashtra. And INS Surat is the fourth and the last guided missile destroyer of the Project 15B class. Project 15B class of the ships are the Indian Navy next generation stealth guided missile destroyers which are being built at the MDL, or you can say Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. Next is INS Udaygiri. Is this the second stealth frigate of the Project 17A class? So the Project 17A frigates are warships that are successor of the Project 17 Shivalik class frigates with enhanced stealth features and advanced weapons and sensors and platform management system. So just remember two naval ship names. One is INS Surat, second is INS Udaygiri. And who is the Chief of Indian Navy Staff? This is Admiral R. Hari Kumar. Moving to next question. Shri Purushottam Rupala ji, who is the Union Minister of Fishery, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, launched a census which is known as 20th Livestock Census and also breed-wise report of the livestock and the poultry. So Purushottam Rupala ji, Union Minister of Fishery, Animal and Husbandry and Dairy, has released this report in New Delhi. And the report was based on the 20th livestock census of 2018-19. And according to this report, the total number of indigenous cattle declined by 6% to 14.21 crore in 2019. Earlier it was 15.12 crore in 2012. And for the first time in India, breed-wise data was collected using tablet computers instead of paper mode, and the data collection was done along with the 20th livestock census of 2018-19, and their share in the total cattle population fell to 73% from 79% during the period of 2012 to 19. So just remember, this is 20th livestock census, and also one report is released. This is breed wise report of livestock and the poultry. Moving to next question. Next question is in the important question section, but first of all you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link so that you can receive the notification on time. Here is the question. Who released second edition of the Global Land Outlook report? So just remember the name of this report, Global Land Outlook report, and this report is released by UNCCD, and it stands for United Nations Convention to combat desertification. So in accordance with the second edition of the Global Land Outlook report released by the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, there are 23 countries who have experienced drought emergencies in the last 2 years, like 2020 to 22, including Pakistan, and the highest total number of humans affected by the drought was in Asia. And the report releases ahead of the United Nations Desertification and Drought Day on 17th of June 2022, that will be held on the theme of Rising Up from Drought Together, and its global observance will take place in Madrid, Spain. It also emphasized on immediate financial support for the conservation and restoration in those developing countries with a greater share of the global distribution of intact, biodiverse and carbon-rich ecosystem. So you have to remember, this is the second edition of Global Land Outlook report, and it is released by United Nations Convention on Combat Desertification. Moving to next question. Mansukh Mandaviya ji released the finding of the third-party assessment of Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers in how many states? So answer of this question is very simple. Answer of this question is 18 states. Just remember the question as same as in slides. So Mansukh Mandaviya ji, who is the Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, released the finding of a third-party assessment of Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers in 18 states of India, and it was released in New Delhi. So, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya ji released the assessment in the 18 states, and the 18 states were selected to cover the spectrum of epidemiological transition levels as defined by the Global Burden of Disease India study, with a higher focus on the northeastern states. And the statement or the assessment also focuses on the free essential medicine, diagnostic services, teleconsultation services and health promotional activities. And the primary aim of the exercise was to assess the pace of the rollout of Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers in different states and to identify specific challenges in their rollout. So overall, there has been an improvement in equity in access despite existing constraints such as the infrastructure availability and status of peripheral health facilities. So just remember, it is a survey of health and wellness centers of 18 states. Moving to next question. Next question is from picture. It is not so much important, but you can remember the data if you can. India's cancer burden to rise 29.8 million in the year of 2025. So, in accordance with the report by the Indian Council of Medical Research on the burden of cancers in India, the number of Indians suffering from the cancer is projected to increase to 29.8 million in the year of 2025 from 26.7 million in the year of 2021. And in 2021, the highest incidence was in the North India and the Northeast India, and it was higher among men. So just remember, India's cancer burden to rise 29.8 million in 2025. Next, we are moving to our one-liner important point. Here is the first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the program making Silver Jubilee celebration of TRAI. TRAI stands for Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a program through video conferencing. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the self-made 5G test bed to the nation. Next, Union Minister Jitendra Singh released a book which is a e-book named as Civil List 2022 of IAS officers. So Jitendra Singh, who is the Union Minister of State under the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension, released this e-book. And this is the 67th edition of the Civil List and the second edition of the e-book in PDF with unique search facilities and hyperlinking of the contents for ease of access of information. And this will support in selecting the right officers for the right assignment based on the available profile. And this is also a vital source of information on the officers manning various posts for the general public. Next, Sameer Sharma, Andhra Pradesh Chief Secretary, gets second tenure extension for the 6 months. So the government of India has extended the tenure of Sameer Sharma, Chief Secretary of Andhra Pradesh, by 6 months beyond the 31st May of 2022. So this is his second tenure extension as a Chief Secretary. Next is RRA 2.0 recommends the withdrawal of 239 more circulars according to RBI. So Regulations Review Authority, this is the meaning of RRA, set up by the Reserve Bank of India in April 2021, recommended the withdrawal of an additional 239 circulars. With this, the total number of circulars which stand withdrawn would be 714. Next, US Air Force conducted successful hypersonic weapon test. So it is not important, just read this line. Next is World AIDS Vaccine Day or HIV Vaccine Awareness Day 2022 observed on 18th of May. So why this day is observed? So remember, this day is just to create awareness and provide information about the AIDS, a chronic, a potential and life-threatening condition caused by the HIV and its immunization. The red ribbon is an internationally recognized symbol of the AIDS awareness, and it is worn in support of the people living with HIV as well as in remembrance of those who have died. And the first ever World AIDS Vaccine Day or the HIV Vaccine Awareness Day was observed on 18th of May 1998. Moving to the question of the day. What was the question of 18th of May 2022? Question was, the excess of total expenditure over total receipt is known as. So the question is very simple, but so many students answered question as a option C, like budget deficit, but maximum student answered as a fiscal deficit. First of all, you have to remember what is the difference between the fiscal deficit and the budget deficit. So budgetary deficit is the difference between all receipts and expenses in both revenue and the capital account of the government. But the fiscal deficit occur when a government total expenditure exceed the revenue that it generates, excluding money from the borrowing. So our question is the excess of the total expenditure over the total receipt, then it is fiscal deficit. So answer of this question is A. Now we are moving to the question of the day. What is the question? Which of the following committee was related to the foreign direct investment? So you have to tell me answer only in the comment box. I am waiting your answer, but please like this video, share this video as much as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join a Telegram group and press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. But it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section. Definitely don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy like this smiley. Thank you guys. Take care and bye bye.